This has been the worst month since January with layoffs. And when you look at this chart right here, there has not been any other month that has been so impacted by US company layoffs. And when you take out other companies, other tech companies around the globe, this has been by far the biggest tech layoff month in the United States this year. And I kind of suspected it, but I didn't think that it was going to be this month or next month. So we have a problem with all these layoffs. And people are saying, oh, we're we're doing great, we're doing all these, but these layoffs have really, really impacted America and the people that actually went through it. So in this video, we're going to talk about the problem, the solution, and what's next. And we're going to add some viewer stories to this. So, if you're being affected with these layoffs, and I know not everybody is in the predicament of actually being let go, but the loss of financial strain, the loss of income does something to you that is unrecognizable, that is un unprecedented to the individual that it happens to. And I know there's severance and all this kind of other stuff, but trying to get unemployment nowadays is so difficult because even though you've paid in it for as many years as you did, they don't really want you to get it because that would mean that the numbers of unemployment would actually go up, right? So the loss of income is so traumatic for people that it triggers something in you like the survival mode in you, and then you gotta budget for rent, mortgage, groceries, healthcare. You gotta shop for health insurance, what is super expensive. If you were with a tech company, you had it in your company plan. Now you gotta go out and shop for health insurance. You gotta do all these things that you wouldn't have done if you didn't got laid off, right? And then the mental, emotional stress, anxiety, the fear of not knowing when to find another job leads to stress and affects both mental and physical health, right? And for some people, it is the loss of identity. For many people, a job gave them a purpose. A job gave them something that they really enjoyed doing, that they loved doing. They had coworkers, they had their friends. Some of them been at their same job for 20 plus years and now have been let go just to find out later down the road that they've reposted the job description and actually said, hey, instead of the 160 that you were making in the Bay Area, we just reposted this for 120. And they're asking you if you want to be employed again at the same company, just with less benefits and a lower pay. And they even have a word for it now. It's called boomerang employee, right? And when you're getting laid off, what a lot of people don't talk about is the isolation. Without the routine of social interactions that a job provides, many feel isolated and disconnected from their work, right? And one thing that I want to tell you guys is you're not alone. There are so many other people going through this right now. And if you think this is the end of the world in 5 years, you're going to be like, it wasn't too bad, even though it's bad right now. In 5 years, you're going to look back and say, hey, it wasn't too bad. But right now, it is. The impact on family relations, family tensions, right? Financial strain and emotional stress can cause tensions within family, leading to conflicts and strain on the relationship. Disrupted plans, right? If you plan for the future, such as buying a house, starting a family, or going on vacation, maybe put on hold, creating disappointment and frustrations. So all these things have huge consequences. And now we're going to talk about the career setback, gap in unemployment, skills, lower job satisfaction. Some people might have to take a job that doesn't match their skill level or interest, leading to satisfaction and potential decline in long-term career growth. These are all such big factors that I'm just like, wow, these are some of the unknown factors that nobody's talking about. And since it's in such mass amounts, we have to start talking about it and talking about how these companies are basically telling the younger generation that this is okay. And what comes around goes around. And we're going to talk about that just in a little bit after we talked about community and the social impact for these people. Reduce consumer spending. When you lose a job, a large group of people lose their job, they can cut back on spending, which can cause impact on local businesses and the local economy. Increase competition for jobs. And I feel like not a lot of people are talking about this either. As more people enter the job market, simultaneously the competition for available positions become fiercer, making it harder for everyone to find a job. And now, when we're talking about all these things, these are all huge tolls that you are going through, right? And now I'm going to talk about a little bit of how to get out of it, what you should do, and how to actually better yourself. So if you're watching this, go follow me on LinkedIn. If you need help, I can see what I can do. If there's maybe somebody in my network that can help you find something, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. So if you're in a position where you're being let go, you need to build resilience. You need to network and mentorship and stress the importance of staying connected with professional networks. Join industry groups, attend virtual events, and seek mentorship can help open doors and new opportunities. And I noticed that. I noticed that a lot of people don't, when they get a job, they're not in these communities, they're not actively pursuing these mentorships, they're not participating in their fields. But now, since there's so many layoffs, you need to start fostering these relationships and actually working towards a brighter future. And when you're not contributing to the community's not going to invest in you. So leading on community, whether through online forums, support groups, or local networks, can provide emotional support, jobs, leads, and valuable advice through hard times, right? So you join groups, you join Facebook groups, you join Reddit groups, you join a career community where it's about your industry. You go to events because you now have the time, so you should network and showcase your skills, right? And I know for a lot of you guys that I've talked to in the past have been saying, hey, I've had a job for 30 plus years. How do I even go about starting about that? And so if you're not been doing any of that, just go on LinkedIn, create a profile and follow me, and you can kind of see how I do it, and then just kind of use that as a jump point and start connecting with people and start showcasing your work. What a tongue breaker, right? Navigate the job search, target job applications, do quality over quantity, because right now everybody's using AI to kind of just spray and pray. What's also, if it works, it works, but that's not what I would do. Personal branding is huge. If you can get on a platform like LinkedIn and start showcasing your work and provide value, then your network got you. But what you got to do is you got to provide value first before you extract. You can't just go into a group and pull value out of it, because they will know and say, oh, it's another one of these guys that just comes in and asks for favors. And then once they would do that favor to you, you're nowhere to be seen. And you're the guy that's like coming in, hey, can you do this for me? And then they're like, yeah, sure I can. And then when it's your turn to pick up the favor, you're not going to do it because you're like, why would I do that? So be a giver rather than a taker, especially in times like this. And now we're coming to a really, really crucial part of how to navigate all this. And this is supporting others, paying it forward, right? Advance for a better workplace. So when you're in a spot where all these layoffs happen, you're in the rut, you're not alone. And let's check out what one of my viewers wrote in and actually left me a comment. And we're going to read this comment so we can see what he's talking about, because there's a lot of comments like this. So let's go through these comments. You said it. I had an interview on July 3rd. I'm a design engineer for solar. I haven't heard back when they told me that they would reach out. It's been radio silent. Make sure I don't walk into these trees. They posted another position and I applied to that one as well. They viewed my profile and still silence, and no flat out rejections. I think they're waiting for interest rates to drop and have a pool of potential to pull from when and if they do drop. In the meantime, one can't just wait around applying for job search for another position. I just filled out unemployment and have a chance to join a union trade job in September. So we will see what happens. Can't keep sitting around. It's annoying. Yes. And I feel you. A lot of people are in your same shoes. And I'm telling you, it is no fault of yours. It is absolutely just the environment that we've created. And when interest rates are that high, People cannot keep spending. You see it with trucks. People can't afford these $90,000 trucks. People can't afford groceries. People can't afford vacations. And then you, as an individual contributor, a doer, is going to have a hard time doing your work because the company is already strapped with work. When you see more and more people telling so salespeople like, hey, you should come work for us. We're doing all these crazy things with solar, or we're doing all these stuff, and then you got to buy an iPad and you got to do your own thing. Don't do it, because then they're trying to get you to pay for stuff, and just don't do it. Have them pay for it, because this is a scam now that I see, that they say, hey, be a solar salesman and come around, and you just have to pay for your iPad and we reimburse you from the first sale or something like it. And you go door knocking. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get a job that you get everything paid for. You got to be very, very cautious nowadays, because there's a lot of scams out. And all these check job workers that had the money to pay for it are now slowly to pull back. And when I read these articles that they're saying they're pulling back from spending money, and they're pulling back with just kind of everything, because you can't keep spending like you have a job. And if you do, you're going to land in bankruptcy. If you're going to keep spending like you're in Congress, if you don't have an infinite money printing machine, it's just not going to work out. So be cautious, spend money wisely, and just save your money. And this is really sad for me to say, because you guys heard me say all the time, oh, support local businesses, but you cannot support your local pizza shop if you cannot pay your own bills. Then you're going to lose your house, and you're going to you lose your car, you lose all these other things, because you need to be your own master of your finances. And it's hard to say, but as a business owner, you have to weather out the storm, and you need to make sure that you can get people into you need to extract the customer's money, and you need to make sure that you can actually stay afloat during hard times. And it's hard because we're so easily to forget. We're so easy to forget nowadays how 2008, 2009 was, how bad of a time it was. And people just think that these times never come back, but the market goes in cycles. So people that haven't saved up for emergency funds are gonna be hurting. And if you do get a job, you need to be budgeting. And I hate to say it, you got to be budgeting, because I read this other article that said it might be smarter to join a startup with funding that has funding for 2 years. So your job is valid for, you're going to have a job for 2-3 years, rather than joining a big corporation that might lay you off 6 months down the road because they outsourced or did something else. And I'm just like, wow, yeah, makes sense to me when I look at that. So it is absolutely bananas when you're starting to think about all these different scenarios. What was really bad 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you never want to join a startup. They'll burn you out. They'll do all these kind of crazy things to you, and you have no job security. Actually kind of flipped and said, hey, if they have funding for 5 years, my job might be available for 5 years, what I could not guarantee at a corporate job. So it is different times have different techniques, have different ways of doing things. So if you watch my video 2 years ago, don't listen to that advice, because that advice might be outdated. You got to listen to the current market positions. You got to listen to what is going on today, what has been going on in 2 months. If they're going to lower interest rate, don't make your assumption off of low interest rates anymore, because low interest rates are gone. Are they going to come back? Who knows? If you know, then you should probably invest according to that. That's going to happen, and make moves like you think that's going to happen. But if that's not going to happen, then you just lost a lot of money. That's why I do not give stock tip advice. And people ask me, why don't you give stock tips? Because I don't know what the stock's going to do, and neither do you. And that's why you got to invest into funds and all this other stuff, where it's a collateral of multiple stocks, that if one of them goes down, you don't lose all your money. because I want you guys to retire. I want you guys to make money and become middle class or upper middle class or wealthy, and then say, hey, I'm gonna buy my house, I'm gonna retire, I'm gonna buy a boat, and I'm gonna be fishing, I'm gonna live by the lake, and I'm just gonna relax in retirement. The worst thing that can happen to you now is you were working for 10, 15 years, and now you're not going to find a job for 2 years, and it's going to wipe out your 401k. It's going to wipe out your future, and it's going to wipe out your retirement account because you couldn't find a job and you had a very expensive lifestyle. When you're looking at all these BMWs around, you look at all these GMC Denali's around, you're looking at all these luxury cars, you see all these luxury stores in the malls. Don't do it. Don't do it right now. It's not the time to spend money when interest rates are high. These layoffs are coming. If you're an executive, it's going to take you about a year to find a job. So be prepared. Save the money and say, hey, we really need an emergency fund. And make sure that if you get into contracts, into big purchases, that you take out insurance, you do the right thing. So you're not going to be hold financially responsible if something goes south. And I know there's a lot of businesses that start during recessions and make a killing. But now I'm doubting all of that because interest rates are so high. We have so many monopolies. And even Apple just released today, hey, we're going to let 100 people go. And this is not good. A corporation like Apple, that's used to be the poster child of tech innovation, is letting people go. It is not good for the US economy. And we can turn it around, no doubt, but we got to be watching our finances, not spend it on unnecessary stuff, not spend it on stuff that we don't really need. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Not in this time. I would love for you to buy stuff that you don't need. These times are going to come again. It's going to be it's probably going to be a year or two till the market's going to be in an upward trend again, and then you're going to see starting to, hey, I'm going to have more money. My investments are going to be doing better. And I can, spend a little bit here, spend a little bit there. Oh, I can have a nicer truck. I can have a nicer car. I can have a nicer refrigerator. I can have a nicer, I don't know, whatever you want. But right now, it's time to just hunker down and not make sudden moves and not spend big money. Because nobody is immune to these layoffs. And even if you're a business owner, you are in a market where high interest rates are still a thing. And in September, they might lower it. And they said they are, but by how much? And how long is that going to take till that all takes effect? I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about all this. I think it's absolutely sad. My heart goes out to all these people that have been laid off. I really hope you find something quick. If not, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. We'll see what I can do. But yeah, I'm always here for my viewers, trying to give you guys as much knowledge as I possibly can in these 18 minutes and as much as I'm seeing as a business owner myself. Because you think I want to drive a Polestar? I'd rather drive something else, but there's no money in the market. And I'm definitely not going to take out a loan at 14% to get something nicer. And for these people that said, oh, you drive a Mustang. Yeah, because everything else in this market, paying, getting financing on it and paying more than 10% is crazy. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.